Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 27 1905 Clans Join Forces 1. The extermination of the Rat Clan was just a casual act. Yes, Zhang Yi is incredibly arrogant now. After passing through the place where they chose to declare war, they swiftly defeated the Rat Clan, but they were still after the Jamin records that the rats possessed. The Starry Sky Corridor, that celestial body filled with danger but also potentially containing treasure, is what I truly care about. Liu Karen immediately mobilized mechanized units to begin a large-scale search in the Takamagara area. Something that's so heavy must be kept in the safest place. The entire topography of the Neon Archipelago, including its underground structure, has been analyzed and cleared, and a large number of mechanical life forms have begun to work. At this time, Zhang Yi received a message from Tianhai City. It was an encrypted channel. At this time, the signal of the entire Japanese archipelago was blocked, and only Deng Shintong, Hutu, and others were able to contact. Upon closer inspection, it was indeed a message from Deng Shintong. Boss Zhang, you guys caused quite a stir when you came back and launched the blitzkrieg on the Japanese archipelago. Half a day had passed since the battle began. Even though the signal could be blocked, it had still escaped the eyes of the outside world. After all, the scale of this war was too large, and the entire island was trembling. Zhang Yi also agreed. The matter was already settled, and he was not afraid of any reaction from either side. I'll just finish up here a bit more. We'll talk about anything else later. Things have gotten a bit out of hand. Well, I understand what's going on with you, but please come back as soon as possible. Okay, sure. Zhang Yi ended the communication with Deng Shintong and continued to wait anxiously for the Liu Karen search data. I am able to leave. I am worried about something unexpected happening. The mechanized unit was very efficient, and they excavated around the ruins of Takamagara, finding something useful in just half an hour. Liu Karen took a memory device from a mechanical life form, examined it for a while, and then happily said to Zhang Yi, "We discovered some incredible things while cleaning up the underground database in Takamagara." Yang Xinshin stepped forward and handed Zhang Yi a crystal-like memory that emitted a faint blue light. This was found in the private chamber of Takamasomi Sukami. Although most of the data was encrypted, preliminary analysis revealed it to be a top-secret file about the ancient Jamin civilization. The Jamin script is very easy to recognize. It looks like patterns imprinted on the soil with hemp rope, but it was developed into a writing system. Yang Xinshin's expression was somewhat serious. It should mention the origin of the Star Clan and some cosmic secrets we've never heard of before. Zhang Yi took the crystal, imagining the massive flow of information inside, and frowned slightly. The Jamin civilization, that's the origin of the Zepin clan and the closest clue to the secrets of the Starry Sky clan. It seems our trip wasn't in vain. Zhang Yi handed the crystal memory directly to Yang Xinshin. Karen will continue to be excavated, and then let Xian decipher the code, which may be key to our future use of the Star Corridor. Clear. The people of the Go people stood on the ruins, discussing their plans for the future. On the distant other side of the ocean, a storm is brewing against them. This is a virtual meeting space in complete darkness. Four enormous projection beams shot into the sky, representing the four ancient civilizations surrounding the Huashu Kingdom, the Celestial Clan, the Ironclad Clan, the Titan Clan, and the Fong Wolf Clan. The atmosphere was so oppressive it was suffocating. The air seemed to have frozen into ice. Is it confirmed? The first to break the silence was the Celestial Clan leader, Manhwa. Has a face so handsome it's almost otherworldly, and a figure that seems to blend into the atmosphere at any moment, though the pure white wings on its back appear somewhat dim at this moment. Although S' voice was calm, the trembling at the end revealed the turmoil in S' heart. Confirmed. The one who answered was a person completely encased in heavy black iron armor. That was the leader of the ironclad clan, Jian Shou. The sound of the was as harsh as the friction of metal. For half a year, we have not received any intelligence from the interstellar fleet, and Chaos has returned with his forces, directly attacking the Zeepin Kingdom. This has been confirmed. The combined fleet of the 5 races, along with all the flagships and super soldiers, has all turned into cosmic dust. There were no survivors, not a single one. Bang! A massive rock fist slammed down on the conference table, shaking the entire virtual space. The Titan leader, the 100-armed Guji, roared like thunder. The 6 arms behind him waved wildly, venting their fear and anger. How is that possible? That's the foundation accumulated by our 5 clans over thousands of years. 5 knight-level powerhouses and hundreds of cult-level powerhouses. How long would it take us to train so many powerhouses? The explosion of superhumans originated from the arrival of the Ice Age, which caused the deaths of many people across 6 generations and opened up the netherworld, leading to the birth of a large number of powerful superhumans from various races. These remnants of ancient times, unlike the dragon race, do not possess absolute power and have maintained a leisurely historical existence for hundreds of millions of years. In reality, most ancient civilizations were like stray dogs fleeing from disaster, with only a few surviving. Therefore, it is even more difficult for them to accept the deaths of these powerful figures. After planning for so long and arranging so many powerful individuals, I thought this was a sure kill. How could they all have been killed by that human? What exactly is this thing called? Is a god? The truth is, it's far more terrifying than we imagined. A sinister voice came from the corner. There crouched a long, slender wolf with ghostly green eyes. Is Langdell, the leader of the Fong Wolf clan, licked his paws, his tone grim. Just received intelligence. The land of the riverbank is gone. What do you mean by gone? Mingwo asked, frowning. Means literally. Rondell sneered. That chaos has returned to Earth in its warship. In just half a day, it killed the Takamisis' sun god, slaughtered millions of people in the entire Zihin clan, and even destroyed Takamagara. The Japanese archipelago has now become a dead land. A deathly silence descended once more. These 4 overlords, who once looked down upon 6 generations of humanity and called themselves the rulers, now felt a chill that penetrated to their very bones. The encirclement and suppression operation failed. Before the news of the encirclement and annihilation could even get back, the enemy had already returned to their homeland and wiped out an ally. The reason why the 5 great civilizations were able to join forces was because the difference in their strength was not significant. So, if Zhang Yi could destroy the Zeepin Kingdom in half a day, how could he possibly kill them in the same way? Chapter 27-25 Clans Join Forces 2. A strong sense of fear gripped the hearts of everyone present. The next one will be us. The leader said sullenly, that Chaos is a vengeful madman. We participated in the plan to wipe him out, and he will never let us go. The kingdom of Zeepin is just the beginning. Then, let's take the lead first. Galiki roared, are we just going to sit here and wait to die? Of course not. Ming took a deep breath, forcibly restoring the elegance and arrogance befitting the leader of a celestial clan, though a hint of ruthlessness, like that of a desperate fugitive, appeared in his eyes. Now that we've already torn off all pretense, there's nothing left to hold back. Our 4 races united will have 10 times the military strength of the Huashu Kingdom. As long as we conquer Huashu Kingdom before Chaos reacts and use those hundreds of millions of humans as hostages, he will be hesitant to act rashly.
Not only that.
A cunning glint flashed in Rondell's bright green eyes. We must stand on the moral high ground and immediately declare to the entire planet, Zhang Yi is a 6th-generation human powerhouse who betrayed the Star Alliance in space, launched a preemptive attack on the ancient civilization's exploration fleet, and brutally massacred the nation of Zeepin. They are brutal demons. They waged war to uphold peace and justice on planet. The ancient tribes already harbored some strange feelings towards the 6 generations. If we seize this opportunity to incite these feelings of resistance against the 6 generations, we might be able to take advantage of the situation and wipe out the entire Huashu kingdom, including chaos. That's a good move.
Kensuk nodded.
Although it's despicable, it's very effective. As long as we seize the right path, we can get some of the tribes who are dissatisfied with the sixth generation to join our side, and even many neutral parties. The signing of the treaty by the All Races Association was inherently unstable. The relationship between the various ethnic groups and the six generations is extremely precarious, and the superficial peace could crumble at any moment. After all, the six generations are not particularly strong overall, yet they still occupy the most important position on the planet and have a population of over 300 million. Even if other tribes don't say it, they secretly wish for the six generations to disappear as soon as possible. Just then, the silent Naruto suddenly lowered his voice and pointed to the void of darkness above. And don't forget, we have that guy behind us. Upon hearing the words, that person, the other three hot-tempered leaders instantly became as docile as quails, their eyes revealing deep awe, even greater than their fear of Zhang Yi. That person has already spoken. The sound of the murmur trembled slightly. It comes from a truly unique existence in the world, and is the mastermind behind the scenes who secretly supports us in cleaning up human civilization. The annihilation of the five-race fleet has greatly displeased that person. If we cannot deal with Zhang Yi quickly, it will prove our worth. We will be erased. Randall shivered and picked up the conversation. Fear is often the most powerful driving force. Galiki suddenly stood up, clenching his 8 arms into fists, and roared in a warlike voice. Then let's fight. Bring out all your trump cards. Awaken all your sleeping legions. This time, either the Huashu kingdom dies or we perish. They also understood that they had no other choice at this point. If Zhang Yi had intended to leave them any room for maneuver, he would never have launched a war without declaring war and annihilated the Zepin kingdom in one battle. Only one battle could possibly reverse the tide of destruction. I agree. At this moment, the 4 wills reached a unity. Pass it on. Ming spread her wings, her voice echoing throughout the virtual space. Assemble all forces of the 4 tribes. Target, Huashu Kingdom. Launch a full-scale offensive. As this decree was issued, in every corner of the 4 ethnic groups surrounding the Huashu Kingdom, the long-dormant, terrifying war machines began to roar into action. A catastrophe that would determine the fate of a race quietly began before the smoke of Zhang Yi's annihilation of his kingdom had even cleared. This was a black frenzy that would be recorded in the annals of the Huashu Kingdom's war history. When the 4 ancient civilizations finally shed their last pretense and resolved to launch a war of annihilation against the Huashu Kingdom, the entire world seemed to be stripped of its color at that moment, leaving only the ash of gunpowder and the crimson of blood. On the northwestern border, the city trembles and the hundreds of millions of tons of steel groan as they move. The ironclad clan's steel torrent, truly like a black tsunami, swept over everything. Looking around, the horizontal lines have completely disappeared, replaced by an endless array of heavy mechs. Those tracks, cast from special alloys, relentlessly crushed the frozen soil, forests, and hills. The air was thick with the suffocating smell of engine oil and ozone. And in that sea of steel, countless hovering warships blotted out the sky. They resembled a moving dark cloud, casting a deathly shadow over the massive hulls. Countless dark gun barrels gleamed with a chilling light in the sunlight, and the low-frequency roar of the engines converged, as if a monstrous dragon was roaring from the depths of the hull, ready to shatter the sky. Meanwhile, in the towering mountains of southwest China, the most primitive and bloody madness is unfolding. Unless you see it with your own eyes, no one can imagine how terrifying the wolf pack tactics would be if they were applied to a scale of millions. Millions of wolf warriors stood naked, revealing muscles as hard as granite, their bodies etched with ancient, blood-red totems. They disdain using vehicles because their bodies are their strongest weapon. They moved with ease along the cliffs, running like black lightning. Whoa! The howls of 10,000 wolves converged into a single wave of sound, even overwhelming the howling wind and snow. That storm of flesh and blood, they wielded scimitars, their claws gleaming with a bloodthirsty light, their eyes bloodshot, filled with the purest desire for slaughter, like a swarm of tireless army ants, ready to devour all living things in their path. The sky, then the air creatures, the celestial race, the leader. There were no warships, only rolling thunderclouds. The dark clouds gathered over several core cities of Huaxiu Kingdom, blotting out the sun and plunging Tianhai, Xinshengjing, and Xinchang'an into darkness. These thunderclouds were not formed naturally, but were weather weapons created by the Celestials using their advanced celestial technology. The clouds hung extremely low, seemingly within reach. Countless winged celestial warriors weaved through the swirling thunder serpent clouds, high above with indifferent eyes, as if looking down upon a swarm of ants awaiting slaughter. Each flap of its wings unleashed bolts of lightning as thick as buckets, and a raging hurricane carved deep furrows across the land, as if the sky had collapsed. Chapter 27-21 An Unfavorable War, Part 1. On the frontal battlefield of Nagahara, the advance of the Titans was the most visually stunning and awe-inspiring sight. The ground is pulsating rhythmically. Thump, thump, thump. Each Titan was over 30 meters tall, with the leading commanders reaching over 100 meters, resembling walking mountains. They wore heavy bioarmor that was alive, constantly writhing and breathing, emanating a nauseatingly savage aura. The weapons they wielded, giant hammers and heavy cannons, were all made from the fused bones of some unknown behemoth and metal. As a legendary race of artisans, the Titans have perfected biotechnology and mechanical craftsmanship. They don't need to charge. They just need to walk forward step by step, and that overwhelming sense of pressure is enough to make an ordinary person's heart burst. This made me think of, well, I don't have time to think about it now. The four tribes joined forces, splitting into four groups, like the claws of four giant beasts, carrying the will to destroy the whole country, and fiercely grasped at the heart of Huaxiu Kingdom. At this moment, the eyes of the entire world are focused on this. Ancient ethnic groups were watching this battlefield closely. Although it wasn't their territory due to the butterfly effect, if war broke out in East Asia, it would affect the stability of their region. Other survivor nations and secondary alien forces lurking in various places are watching coldly through satellites and remote detection. They were shocked by the profound knowledge and power of the four ancient clans and terrified by their destructive military might. But more than anything, it was the gloating anticipation of certain ancient races. After all, fundamentally, they didn't really like the sixth generation, a weak but extremely prolific group. Britannia is one of the powerful nations that has reached agreements with the Abyss clan and Atlantis. King Arthur, clad in the golden lionheart armor, rested his hand on the sword in the stone at his waist, his gaze fixed intently on the holographic screen, a cold, hard smile playing on his lips. They're finished. Merlin and Lancelot, among others, sat at the lower end of the table, while the entire knights of the Round Table watched the battle. This was clearly the largest battle on Earth since the resurgence of all races, and they were very curious about the outcome. Upon hearing King Arthur's words, Lancelot stared at him, frowned, and asked, "You mean the kingdom of Huaxiu and chaos, they're finished?" King Arthur looked at him with some surprise, while Merlin beside him couldn't help but cover his mouth and burst out laughing. "Lancelot, are you kidding me?" Lancelot gave a disgruntled snort. "Do you really think they're capable of fighting against four ancient Ming races at the same time? I know Chaos is very strong. He can take on four opponents at once, a group of equally powerful individuals. But so what? In a war of this magnitude, unless an individual possesses overwhelming power, no one can turn the tide of battle." Merlin was still smiling. "What you said does make a lot of sense, but you've overlooked a very important point." Lancelot asked, displeased, "What? Do you know that the Huaxiu Kingdom or Chaos has some trump card that can turn this terrible situation of 1 against 4 around?" In their understanding, these powerful ancient beings were so formidable that even in a one-on-one fight, the Huaxiu Kingdom would find it difficult to defeat them. Without Zhang Yi's intervention, the Huashu kingdom would likely have lost most of its territory, just like other kingdoms. No, that's not true. Merlin shook his head. Then what did you say? Although I don't know what trump cards the Huashu kingdom possesses, but... He squinted, staring at the vast battlefields displayed on the satellite projection, and slowly said, I know that guy. He's a guy who absolutely refuses to take risks, but once he starts making a move, he's at least 300% confident. King Arthur smiled and nodded in agreement. Lancelot looked completely bewildered. What you said seems to make some sense. He recalled his several encounters with Zhang Yi, who was so steady that it gave him the creeps. But what the heck is 300%? King Arthur said, that means Chaos not only has the confidence to fight 4 against 1, but also the confidence to win absolutely. He would never do something that would hurt the enemy 1,000 while also losing 800 of his own. Lancelot and the other knights of the round table below were dumbfounded, but upon closer reflection, it made perfect sense given Zhang Yi's style of doing things. How? How did they become so strong? It seems that it wasn't just us who obtained the legacy of the ancient Ming dynasty from its ruins. They obtained even more. Columbia Natural Science Research Center. Chairman Morgan Freeman, dressed in glittering gold, sat leisurely in a red leather sofa chair with a cup of coffee in his hand, watching the battle projection in front of him. Inside the Combat Command Center, there was the White Labrador as well as some armored figures. That's right, Columbia has fully reached an agreement with the ancient Ming, and the constructs are now involved in the daily affairs of the Natural Science Association. To be frank, the various races are not inherently enemies or allies. It's simply that their choices are driven by self-interest. In this era of awakening of all races, having more allies is essential for the better survival of our nation. What a spectacular aesthetic of destruction. Oh, the Huashu kingdom is really unlucky. That area is surrounded by savage ancient races. Our Columbia is the place to choose, even though I'm leisurely sipping coffee right now. A construct knight, operating a computer, responded in a mechanical voice. Some nations choose conquest, some choose cooperation. But this struggle will not end until an even greater danger arrives. All right, shut your mouth. Let me see what chance Huashu Kingdom has of winning this battle. An impatient voice came from behind. Morgan chuckled. Da Vinci, has your data model deduced it yet? How long will Huashu Kingdom last? 3 hours? Or several hours? That's too optimistic. Da Vinci didn't turn his head. Cold data streams flickered in his mechanical glasses. Based on the current magnitude comparison, their conventional defenses will crumble like paper under the first wave of impact. Aside from Chaos, or who might escape, the entire Huashu Kingdom will be razed to the ground within 30 minutes. This is no joke. Based on data from 1940, Huashu Kingdom was not capable of defending such a vast territory. Territory, by definition, means difficult to defend. Chapter 27:22 The Unfavorable War 2. Upon hearing Leonardo da Vinci's words, Morgan's eyes showed a slight change. So, the Huashu Kingdom is doomed? Who knows? That guy has always been very mysterious. That's why I don't believe he wasn't prepared at all. Leonardo da Vinci's dead fish eyes showed no emotional fluctuation. Sir, get ready to watch the show. Brian leisurely munched on his meat strips, glancing at Morgan and thinking to himself, they've got a backup plan. The worst-case scenario is being transferred to the underground space of the Alawada Empire. Of course, this is a secret between us brothers, and I won't tell you. Morgan sat up straight and immediately sent Zhang Yi a voice message. Your Excellency Chaos, I am deeply concerned to hear that your region has been attacked by several ancient civilizations. Although we are thousands of miles away and it is difficult for us to provide timely assistance, we are willing to accept refugees from Huashu Kingdom if they are truly willing. Morgan spoke with heartfelt sincerity. Knowing that if Huashu Kingdom were to be conquered, Zhang Yi would immediately lead the elite troops of the Han Sea to relocate. Therefore, top-tier warriors like Zhang Yi, as well as the talents and technologies of the Korean Peninsula, are highly sought after. Bharata, the golden temple on the banks of the Ganges. Indra sat cross-legged on the enormous white elephant throne, and a divine mark resembling an eye appeared on his brow. After returning from the moon, I underwent a complete transformation, becoming even more formidable. The three-headed clan also emerged from underground, officially appearing before the people as a divine race. However, Bharata itself has a strong religious culture, so the people of Bharata accepted it very quickly. At this moment, Indra's third eye opened slightly, its golden pupil revealing endless indifference and arrogance. Oh, chaos again? I see the future. I see a chaotic void, as if the universe has just begun, or as if all things have ended. What will the future of Huashu Kingdom and the future of chaos be like this time? All eyes on Earth, on every civilization, are focused on this place. Openly and, of course, also secretly. Amidst the intense public scrutiny, as the four major races launched their war, they also released a joint manifesto, which was broadcast to civilizations around the world via quantum broadcast. In the scene, the four clan chiefs, Mingwo, Jianshou, Guqi, and Langdell, spoke with righteous indignation and deep sorrow. They stood on the bridge of the massive warship, with a large army ready to go behind them. The Huashu Kingdom is chaotic and treacherous. During the sacred space exploration mission, they tore up the alliance, launched a despicable sneak attack, and annihilated the joint fleet of the 5 major civilizations. And they have gone mad again, launching a brutal massacre against the Kingdom of Zepin, causing the deaths of millions of people. This is a trampling of peace on Earth, an insult to the dignity of all races. Today, our 4 races will join forces to launch a holy war to punish the demon and uphold justice. The Huashu Kingdom has aided and abetted the evildoer and should be punished as well. They must be killed without mercy. These words were spoken with an air of righteous indignation, as if they were the victims and the judges of justice. Whether or not anyone believes it is not important. Just as Bai Longzi said, all you need is an excuse. Even among all races, a basic level of decorum needs to be maintained. However, upon hearing this news, many ethnic groups and human kingdoms were greatly shocked. What? Interstellar exploration? Chaos wiped out the 5-race alliance. Are you courting death? You dare to leave Earth with chaos. You'll know exactly how you die. Don't say that. Chaos isn't exactly generous, but he also indiscriminately kills innocent people. It seems that the 5 races alliance wanted to harm him, but ended up being killed instead. Anyway, what exactly happened doesn't matter anymore. In this battle, the winner is justice, and the loser is evil. Let's watch the show. With the release of the manifesto, the bugle call for the final offensive was sounded. Fire! Crush them all! For the glory of my race. At this moment, the world fell silent. On the northwestern border, the main cannons of thousands of ironclad warships were simultaneously fully charged. Those were tens of thousands of high-energy particle cannons powerful enough to pierce asteroids. They converged into a destructive rain of light, like a meteor shower, hurtling towards the border city of Huashu Kingdom in a parabolic arc. Each beam of light carried a devastatingly high temperature, enough to instantly vaporize a skyscraper. The sky was dyed red by high-energy radiation, as if the world was about to be destroyed. In the sky, the myriad bolts of lightning and storm hammers unleashed by the Qi tribe, carrying the power of annihilation, slammed fiercely toward the eastern coast, with the Qi Sea bearing the brunt of the attack. That was just lightning. It was a waterfall from the Thunderclap group. Deng Shintong stood atop the command tower, his hand on his sword, watching the attack that seemed poised to sweep away the entire sea, a look of helplessness on his face. It looks very dangerous. On the ground, the blade storms created by the millions of scimitars wielded by the Falmwolf clan and the acid bombs spewed by the Titan clan's biological heavy cannons completely covered the border.
Destroy.
Faced with this immense power, any conventional human defense measures seem utterly ridiculous. In everyone's imagination, the next scene should be the city of Huashu reduced to ruins, countless humans wailing in the sea of fire, and the flame of civilization extinguished in an instant.
Ran.
The moment those devastating attacks were about to touch the territory of Huashu Kingdom, buzz. A clear, ethereal, yet incredibly powerful hum of energy suddenly resounded throughout the land. The sound seemed to come from the Earth's core, or perhaps from the highest heavens. Located on the southeastern coast of Huashu Kingdom, it is actually the central square of the central city of Huashu Kingdom. A towering, 1,000-meter-tall, crystal-clear, shaped pillar, the Origin Tower, suddenly shone with a dazzling white light. The enormous beam of white light shot straight into the sky, then dispersed like rain, instantly connecting to a massive, normally invisible energy receiving network covering the entire country. In an instant, a miracle occurred. On the border of the Huashu Kingdom, above every city, and even above every inch of its land, a thin, originally transparent membrane suddenly appeared. The shape of the is faintly honeycomb-like with a shaped border, radiating a soft yet strong and indestructible azure halo. This is an absolute defensive field covering more than 10 million square kilometers of land in the entire Huashu Kingdom. Indeed, due to the expansion of the terrain, the actual territory controlled by the Huashu Kingdom has now increased, and it is now mainly composed of plains. The ironclad clan's particle cannon rain slammed heavily onto the shield. There was no violent explosion, no horrific scene of being pierced through. Those terrifying energy beams were like raindrops falling into a deep, bottomless lake, only creating beautiful ripples before being quickly absorbed, dispersed, and diverted by the shield.
Alright, that's it for today's chapter. Tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the Buzz Play Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises.